All right, let's hop right back into this. Draft time for game number 3. In regards to bans, York University keeping everything the exact same. They like what they had, up against them at least. And of course, with Saints being on the red side, it means that first pick does go over to York University. And so they do not give up the Kaisa. They're going to just give it over, or not give it over, they're going to just use a ban to take it off the board, forcing Logia to play something else. And he's actually going to opt away from the Jin this time, picking up Misfortune. Normally you see Misfortune, you usually think of a combo tool of some sort, which means there's probably going to be a team built around setting something up. I would normally think in this situation something like an Orianna, for example, or a Galio, especially since it's not banned quite yet. Meanwhile, the side of St. Clair, and we're seeing ourselves possibly a bot lane picked up right away. The Tristana Leona aggressive bot lane could absolutely crush a Misfortune if they just absolutely dive on them. And speaking of diving, Jungler and Pain hovering over the Hecarim once, or for the first time here in this series, thinking about it. Now Cabstract, even though he had a fantastic laning phase up against Frez for the second time in a row, it was a similar situation to how Lassie was in game number 1. Had so many eliminations, but when the time came to it, just got blown up right away, and sure enough, the Hecarim all delivery service here with Abstract's Orianna. Was fantastic in game number 1, was not banned, and they're going to be able to pick that up right away. Base Frez knows what he's going up against, and yes, Cabstract is definitely a very, very tough opponent, but at least he'll know what kind of matchup he wants to put himself into. While we're in the midst of the banning phase, big thank you to Atmosphere TV for the free subscription with the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. Ban number 4 on the way here. Saints gonna probably get rid of Thresh? What? I was gonna say Galio. But boy, was I wrong. So the Thresh gonna be taken off. Not going to let Invent have that champion. Navia gonna be taken off the board. Frez did end up having a fantastic mid to late game with that champion, so Cabstract's going to opt against it for this time. And then Rakan is the last ban. What is switching up here? It's weird to see. They switch sides and all of a sudden, like, all their past strategies seem to go out the window. And then Silas going to be picked off for the last ban. So a lot of champions previously taken off the board are accessible for this time by. I mean, now that I really think about it, I guess the Rakan kind of makes sense if you want to have an additional supporter that can set up bullet time from Misfortune. And actually, we're going to see Frez pick up the Victor, which I've seen mixed successes with in the scrims. He was able to dominate some games, but other games kind of stuck just farming away, hoping for the best. Hopefully, this is one of those dominating or at least staying alive kind of games. And we're going to see Chicken Delivery, I believe, in this situation, picking up the Aatrox. First time in this series for a lot of these players. We get used to them playing one thing, and they completely switch it up on here, or on us here, and we're looking for a support in this case. Invent, what are you going to pick? Going to opt for the Morgana, be able to lock down one or more players, set up the bullet time. Set up possibly the Shockwave as well if enough people get close enough together. A Wombo Combo team coming out here for York University. Meanwhile, St. Clair, I see aggression, but I'm not sure if I really see comboing. But we'll have to see. It's going to be Kubra picking up the Irelia for game number 3. Third game of varsity, third different champion that we're going to see Kubra here on. Active Force, the classic Jarvan. We saw this a lot back when he did play with us about 2-3 semesters ago. And Frez on the Victor, we were explaining earlier. Consistent, but also bursty damage. As long as he can keep himself alive. Tristana for Lazi is the first time I've seen it in, I think, all of the time that we've had Lazi here on this varsity team. I've seen more Callista than I've seen Tristana from Lazi. That being said, though, this Leona pick coming out here from Miensfo does not necessarily surprise me. We've seen him do some aggressive roaming here with this champion, and if that's the kind of boost that Frez needs to go up against Cabstract on an even or a winning level, then by all means, I think you have to do it. So game 3, looking like it's going to be another exciting one. Both teams kind of have an idea of what they want to do in this situation. I guess Saints, not as obvious to say the least, but with York University's team, you know what they want here. They want a combo setup. They want Hecarim to dive on in with the Shockwave ready on him, with a Misfortune ready to do bullet time, with Invent on the Morgana, and Chicken Delivery on the Aatrox, also assisting and gathering everybody up. Getting some pogs here for Curtis, for Kubra on the Irelia. And this has been a champion that we don't really see out of the Saints in the past. I've not seen really much Irelia, and which is odd considering how good she is. She's definitely a solid champion, has basically always been a solid champion since as long as I can remember. Of course, it's cool to see so much mixed bag play coming out here, that it's not just everybody sticking to one team comp and just changing like execution errors. They're just doing straight up, okay, plan A didn't work, we're going to plan B, which is completely different. And especially here for York, of course, we're seeing Jungler in Pain. He's had a Lee Sin game, he's had a Graves game, now he's on a Hecarim. And Cabstract, if anything, he's the one most consistent. He's the Grandmaster player, of course. Knows what he likes, knows what he needs, and knows how to set up these combos. So expect him to be the shot caller going forward here into this game, working with Jungler in Pain and Invent to set up Logia. Of course, Logia at Jhin twice, now switching over to Misfortune. Invent, once again, showing his champion pool and stylistic differences. Or, of course, he went from the assassin support of Pyke to the purest of supports in the healer of Soraka. Now, a bit of a playmaker kind of support with a little bit of damage, but not too much. More of the playmaker kind of support there with Morgana. And the Chicken Delivery also with his third different character between the Shen, Gangplank, and now the Aatrox. So we're definitely seeing a nice mix of champions here from the York side of things. Or on both sides of the team, to be honest. Definitely been an exciting matchup. Of course, if you like what you see, be sure to follow us here on the Saints Gaming CA channel. Of course, this is your home for the St. Clair Saints esports team. And there's going to be so much more action. The season is just getting started. Of course, League of Legends has CLOL starting up Saturday at 3 o'clock as well. So this isn't even the only game of League of Legends this week. It's going to be a fantastic weekend as well. Of course, the doubleheader of League of Legends into some Rainbow Six Siege. So it's going to be a nice busy day for myself. I look forward to bringing you the action for that day. And of course, before we do hop into the game as it is loading up right here, of course, thank you to the sponsors that do make the St. Clair Saints varsity esports team possible. St. Clair College, Zuckerman School of Business and IT, Tim Hortons, St. Clair SRC, and the St. Clair College Alumni Association, PC Outlet, and Tim Hortons. Thank you all so much for making this possible. And of course, big thank you to everybody in the chat. I think there's about 28 of you so far in the chat watching this game number 3, getting ready to get underway. Always a pleasure commentating and casting all of these matches here for you all. Whether you're here supporting your friends, family members, or classmates, or even just the program itself. Always a big thank you for supporting their esports endeavors. But without further ado, enough jibber jabber on the camera screen. How about we get ready to get into the game. In here, calling it out right here, right now, and as of right now, we will not see anything as crazy. Never mind, I am an absolute liar. I should probably show you what I'm talking about. We do have 4 players in the bottom bush here for the side of York University. The only one not really there is Capstract, maybe faking the line of scrimmage kind of style. But with the Saints not roaming down, not looking to get aggressive on that bot side, this death bush of sorts may end up not finding anything, but that's a-okay. And for the first time in this entire series, we very well might have ourselves a level 1 period that is actually peaceful with nothing absolutely crazy happening. We're just going to start off on our red buffs and call it a day, it looks like. They're taking it easy on me for game number 3. Red buffs both taken, and all we'll get to see is Active Force going to try and make the early level 2 play, or is it going to just hop to farm it up? It looks like off to the Krug, so more of a farming play nonetheless. Mansfo diving forward. Logia going to be the ones taking a little bit of heat in this situation. Some decent damage, but the root coming down onto Mansfo might turn this around. Lassie kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, has to try to get out of dodge. Is going to be taking about half of his health in punishment in this situation. Mansfo's early aggression not really paying off for them. It looked good when they jumped onto Logia. They did burn. It would have been the heal out of Invent, but now the level 2 happens. Lassie's diving in, going to get exhausted right away, and is nearly going to go down. 2 battles happening at separate times here. Lassie going to be able to pop the heal and keep himself safe. But at level 1, solid defense coming out from Logia and Invent. Just not getting too scared. Lock him down. Focus Lassie. The exhaust popped from Logia as well. Make sure that the damage coming out from Lassie was at a minimal. Was definitely clutch in that situation. And now Kubra, with this matchup here up against the Aatrox, might actually have himself a winning lane if this pattern keeps on going here. Was able to hit level 3 first in that situation. Lassie and Mansfo both forced back, so they're going to be behind in regards to experience, but I think that is exactly why we see Active Force hanging around that bot side. Sure, he's probably getting that Skull Crab first, but we might look to see him have a play happen here, try and help boost this bot lane after their aggression did not go according to plan. Sure enough, in the tri-bush, Saints looking to maybe make a play. Of course, mid and top both have teleports available. Jungler and Pain actually all the way up in the top lane, which in theory should be the go button here for St. Clair to look to try and make something happen. And it's going to be focused in onto Logia. Teleport coming out here. I believe this is going to be Chicken Delivery. First Blood is going over to Lassie. Chicken Delivery has shown up though. Invent is going to try and take down Lassie. That being said, Capstract is coming through the jungle. Try and meet up with Lassie. Should be meeting them any moment here. I'm gonna say, Invent, please kill me. Don't give it to the Orianna. But it's too late. Not going to be the case. Passes that kill over to Capstract. Frez is like, man, really? It wasn't even me this time. I'm so sorry. But it's going to be the kill going over to the Orianna. But granted, Frez is dead even with Capstract, doing a much better job in this matchup up against Capstract at least. And for once here, the bot lane of St. Clair seems to be the one maybe struggling a little bit. Sure, 2 more long swords in the pocket of Lassie, but has not been farming in the slightest. They've been basically trying to just kill this lane over and over again. We do see Frez looking to try and make a play here as well. Gets caught up in the stun. Will just pass on over. Active Force going to pick this one up. Now Lassie going to try and maybe push this with the rest of the squad as the Dragon is now available as well. Cooper 3 up in the top lane. Looking to try and make a play. Some good moves though from Chicken Delivery. Maybe catching Kubra a little bit out of position. That being said, though, do they try to make this happen? It's going to be successfully doing so. Tries to make the dodge, but it's going to end up going over to Jungler in pain. While they're all up top, however, it does leave the door open here for St. Clair to take this Ocean Drake. Nobody is going to be able to contest this, so they're just going to teleport all the way back up top. It's going to be picked up there by Lassie, finally hitting level 3 of all things. It's crazy how long it's taken him this time by. And he's actually caught up on CS, actually, so give Lassie some time. He'll get himself back up to snuff in regards to his CS. Although I do like the fact that St. Clair, they were going aggressive, but at least they finally waited for the 3 to 4 player dive instead of just trying to bang their head up against the wall. That was Invent and Logia in a 2v2. Because it was definitely... like, they definitely had themselves an opportunity, but that being said, Invent and Logia did handle that extremely well. Of course, definitely an exciting series. We're going the full distance here today, of course, in game number 3. After York University had a very decisive game 1, game 2 was a little bit closer, but Saints managed to pull it off. We do see Invent getting jumped on by Active Force. A good shield, however, going to stop the knock-up portion of that attack from happening. Takes a little bit of damage, sure, but is able to completely walk that off. Crisis averted, but Invent is still maybe getting himself a little bit overzealous. Gets himself stunned up on Mienzfo. Jungler is here. They're going to try and dive on to Lassie. Lassie going to try and jump away. Gets out of dodge. Shockwave takes care of Active Force. And now Saints are forced to run through the jungle using the Blasco and try and get out of dodge. But Cabstract is there. And of all people to feed some kills over to, that is not the player you want to see that go to. Perfect timing there for Cabstract, and actually Chicken Delivery turning this over, popping the ulti and going right on in. Solo kill on Takubra. Definitely frightening here for St. Clair once again. Now, okay, good flash from Frez. That was right on target there from Invent, still sitting at level 4. But has been making his presence known, and actually probably done so on purpose, as Logia already level 6 bullet time is available. Of course, one of the core combo pieces of their composition already ready to fire. Rift Herald is on the menu here for the side of York University, probably not going to be contested. Jungler in pain just going to take it himself, it looks like, confident enough to take care of that. Saints have no vision on it, so it's probably going to go into their pocket, no problem. Active Force is nearby, however. Kubra, does he ward it and spot it? Don't think he does. That Rift Herald's just about to go down. He's going to opt to go back to his lane, so it's too little too late there for Kubra. Tell you what, Lassie so far in this game has been doing or has been having a rough time, rather. Constantly stuck going back over and over again. It's just letting the CS lead between Logia and him just go so much further ahead. About 10 CS currently in the favor of Logia in this situation. And of course, the fact that Invent has been roaming more means too that that ultimate was available. Lassie just straight up cannot get aggressive, doesn't want to push, yet Tristana naturally pushes, and that's going to be the Cataclysm coming down onto Invent. A good chunk of damage, but it's going to flash out of dodge before anything too crazy happens. Dragon right around the corner here. Saints looking to try and set up, but at the same time, Jungler in pain is nearby as well. Rez gets a little bit over-aggressive, and he's going to find himself paying for that one. The pathing was just not in his favor in the slightest. Kuba 3 and Mienzfo going to try and at least turn this into 1, but who do they focus down here? They should probably focus down Cabstract. Lassie is not going to be able to 1v1 him. They are going to be able to do so. That shutdown goes all the way on to Kubra. Okay, so a key bounty, a key target taken off here Frez probably not so disappointed going down in that situation, since it does just get transferred over to one of his teammates. At least the 1v or the 1-for-1 happens in that situation. Dragon should be right around the corner. Of course, St. Clair did get the first Ocean Drake. This would be Drake number 2 if they can manage to successfully take this one. Yes, Cooper got himself the kill, but he still has to deal with Chicken Delivery, who seems to be having his number. I was thinking that Aurelia was going to have a bit of a better time up against Chicken Delivery's Aatrox, but it looks like I may have been mistaken, even with the level advantage. Chicken Delivery just doing a ton of damage. And not smited down again. Active Force definitely playing with our hearts here in this situation. Lassie stuck between a rock and a hard place. Mansfield in a world of hurt as well. The Lance moves out of the dodge, and no, that's exactly what you don't want to see. That's Lelgia right in position. And was that deja vu? I feel like I just saw that 2 minutes ago as Frez goes down, as Cabstract catches him with some awkward pathing once again. 3 kills handed over to York University. Yes, sure, Saints got the dragon, but if you got the 3 kills, I think I say worth an all chat every time. Active Force playing with fire here. Going to hang on just by a thread, but now with Shelly coming down the play, gonna basically demolish this turret by himself. But the assistance of the team's always good. Takes down that tier 1 turret. And yeah, Lassie just has not been able to farm at all in this game. It just feels like it's been skirmish after skirmish, and he's not necessarily have been that strong either. Mansfo is trying his best to peel for him the best it can, but the fights are just lasting too long for him. Sure, you blow your cooldowns, then what? Of course, like I was saying before, like Lassie wants to probably freeze and farm up as best as possible. Of course, Tristana late game is fantastic. They have to get there. You're in that awkward spot now where, sure, you had a bunch of damage in the early game based off of your kit alone, but now once you reach the mid game, you kind of fall off a little bit. You don't do as much damage compared to some of these other champions. And just naturally, because of the passive explosions when killing a minion, you're going to constantly just keep pushing that lane. We'll have to see. Took the CS lead now between him and Logia. Chicken Delivery definitely keeping Cooper 3 on his toes. Definitely a lot of pressure here for the rookie up in the top side. Game clutch in game number 2 plenty of times. Game 1 felt a little bit of a non-factor, but of course you're playing Shen, you're being as supportive as you possibly can. But allowing him onto the Aurelia to make some more aggressive plays, possibly. You see Jungler in Pain down here in the tri-bush as well, possibly looking to maybe make a play onto Kubra. Not going to be the case. We're actually just going to go for the Rift Herald instead, as that will be spawning shortly. No more turret plates in play either in the situation, so no more gold in that regard. And then in the meantime, Cabstract, 5 kills again. It's looking just deja vu from other games where just Cabstract seems to pop off. We're in Pain, threatening the fact that he can possibly dive in at any moment, but not going to opt to do so. Yeah, Cabstract was just down bot, just farming up as best as he can, leading the game with 129 in this situation, followed closely by his teammate at 124. And it kind of shows in the gold lead, but hang on a second, Active Force going on to Invent. And actually gets kind of trapped out a little bit. Okay, nice little solar flare there from Jensfo to stop the bullet time early. But then just ends up being a bit of a stalemate now that that has occurred. 15 minutes into the game. Cabstract just going to blow up Active Force for free. After a greedy back position, really going to make Saints pay for it. And it's a lot of these little plays that are starting to add up here for St. Clair, or against St. Clair, rather, as York University just about to hit the 30k mark in regards to gold collected. Meanwhile, 23 on the side of Saints. And Chicken Delivery, of course, a Taiki boy, does not care about that turret. And Frez does not have the damage to do this. He was doing fine in that mid lane. Yet Cabstract was able to find himself some eliminations early. And then 2 mispositionings after the fact, and Frez got punished each time, so a rough time for him indeed once again. And CS-wise, at least in game number 2, when he was on the Anivia, he may have been behind in regards to eliminations, but at least he was keeping rather even in regards to creep score or creep kills, the CS. So he had at least close to the same amount of gold in his pocket. This game, however, that is not the case in the slightest. 142 to 51 in the mid lane. Lassie's definitely hurting this situation too, hitting 124 compared to the 140. Less kills and less assists as well, so less money in his pocket. And right now, yeah, Saints probably don't want to take that fight. They are rather grouped, and they're thinking about it, but just going to stall it up long enough to the point where the York squad is going to pick up that dragon for no contest. And Chicken Delivery may be able to finally take this turret down. They've been trying for a little while, but finally going to secure kill on that, get some additional gold in the pocket, and this is actually looking rough. Nearly 10k gold lead right now for York University, and the double flash into absolutely nothing wombo combo coming out here for St. Clair as Mansfo and Actiforce were both looking for something, but I believe the flash away from Logia going to completely shut that down. High risk, high reward, but the risk did not pay off this time, to say the least. Of course, Cabstract could probably take on Frez and Mienso if they decide to do a double team attack onto him, but Saints know better in this situation, going to go back under their turrets, farm up as best they can. I feel like that's what they kind of have to do here. Just try and stall out the best they possibly can. See if they can get Lassie's Tristana to late game, get Frez's Victor to late game, and of course Cooper 3's Aurelia as well. As all of those characters, all those champions can definitely be threats in themselves. And then just have Active Force and Miensfo make the setups, make the plays, and once again, there's overconfidence in their backing. That being said, though, a little overconfidence actually from Cabstract as well. Frez is going to survive. Not as bad. I guess if there's one small victory, if you're going to have that many kills, have it on an Orianna instead of a Syndra so you don't instantly get popped if a situation like that happens. Because had that been a Syndra, that would definitely have been a one-shot kill. Okay, Lassie's going to be able to sneak that red buff away, but now this put Kubra in a bit of a compromising position. Going down to less than half HP already. Bullet Time is going to tag him up, but not finish him off. Going to hang tight with about 5%, and I don't know why. Just an unfortunate play there for Frez, going after the ward in an area that was definitely confiscated by York territory. Nice ulti there from Jungler Pain to make the maximum amount of punishment in that situation. Rift Herald going to come out to play as well. This mid turret is going to get absolutely slaughtered in this case. May not even need the Rift Herald hit. That is going to end up being the Rift Herald hit that takes it down here. Can they get themselves an inhibitor turret? I don't think they're too focused on it. Active Force getting himself in a rough spot between a pony and a demon. Which one do you wish to fight up against? And it's going to be the pony securing that one. They're going to try and jump onto Logia, which granted they very well might get him down, but it's not going to be the case. Jungler is going to get the kill onto Lassie. And Cooper finds himself elimination. We have the pony going on a tear here. And shut down now onto Logia as well. We have ourselves an ace. I didn't even see all the Saints show up for that fight, but apparently they all do drop here. Beautiful setup for York University. We're able to catch Active Force a little bit out of position, completely punishing him out in that situation. The rest of the Saints tried to back him up in that case, but it just did not work in the slightest. They're going to lose an inhibitor as well as one of the Nexus turrets. So defense up against super minions is going to be difficult now for St. Clair. over a 10k gold block or gold deficit in this situation. I feel like they're out in this situation as the hope for a uncharacteristic overextension from the side of York University, and then basically just trying to farm yourself to late game. Of course, we're only at the 20-minute mark, and a Nexus turret has fallen here, so this is definitely a bit of a speed run coming out here from the side of York University. Doing a lot of damage quickly. But they're going to try and make something happen. They blow basically everything onto Invent, but they do get the Solar Flare. They do get the kill over to Lassie. So this could be the start of what they're looking for. Mienso is going to get the kill onto the next one. So they do manage to get themselves a double. One of them, of course, going over to Lassie, so trying to jumpstart him a little bit more. Dragon should be around the corner here, but Jungler in Pain is nearby as well. 6 kills and 7 assists with no deaths to the name of Jungler in Pain. Going to be another Infernal Drake right now. York University has one already on deck, and geez, Cabstract is just doing so much damage, even to just Kubra. Imagine if that hits Lassie in this situation here. And this is a perfect spot for an Orianna to go play ball, considering everyone's grouping up, trying to make the play. The Saints are actually going to drop off of it. Jungler in Pain going to find himself a double, and the Saints just absolutely evaporate. And it's going to be a brutal kill here for the side of York University. Yet another ace triple goes over to Cabstract. And in theory, they don't even have to worry about the Dragon. Minions are on the Nexus turret. This is game in this situation. In fact, it may be game to the point where the server just says, no, we're not going to see the ending of the game, because you know exactly what happened. That's actually really odd here. What happened here? I have no idea what happened in that situation, but it seems like the game froze up. I could not have done that better if I tried, but it looks like in the situation, I'm going to double check, but I'm going to assume that's York finished off there. Sorry, I'm going to have to try and rejoin here. No, that did end up being it. So unfortunately, not seeing the specific conclusion, but that was the fight that did finish off the job there for St. Clair. Just, there was so much damage so quickly that there is basically nothing the Saints could try and do. If they sat back and tried to farm up, like I was suggesting, they're still giving away objectives. So it was absolutely like lose-lose, regardless of what you try to do there. Trying to get the Victor and the Tristana and the Irelia to late game may have been the win condition. As we can see, this York squad was definitely strong enough to not let the Saints get anywhere near that win condition. But still, GG's nonetheless. I'm still, impressed with this York University squad. They did a very fantastic job today. I do still want to give GG's to the St. Clair squad. I know I may have been a little bit hard on them today, but of course, I do mean this because I just want to see them do well. I don't ever wish to cut anybody down. But still, the fact this team was put together within a week. I know Shadi has been doing a ton of coaching with the squad, about 2 or 3 scrims, I think, just this week alone. And then I think Yuri's doing a bunch of managing as well. So they're trying their best with this new squad. Definitely a lot of new styles and new faces to get warmed up. And of course, this is still the beginning of the season. It's just game number 1. York, of course, going to take this in 2-1 fashion. We will get to see this Saints squad again on Saturday. In fact, let's take a look at that schedule. For Saturday, 3 p.m., League of Legends action returns. This is the beginning of the CLOL season. Worcester Polytechnic Institute is our opponents for the first series. Best of 3 series action once again. Then Saturday, that's a doubleheader. Rainbow Six Siege action, R6 Collegiate Championships are 7 o'clock right after League of Legends matches. And January 24th, Face It CSGO League continues at 5. Then Thursday and Friday, as of right now, would be the next live broadcast, as we do have Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, the season opening tournament prior to the season for CCL, both on Thursday and Friday. Friday, if we do make it to day 2, I believe that it's a single elimination tournament. So if you do want to make sure that you're notified, get involved with the Saints community, of course, be sure to follow us, Saints Gaming CA, on Twitch here, of course, on Twitter, and or on all social media platforms rather. And also, if you want access to our gigantic VOD archive, be sure to drop a Twitch Prime. Subscribe to our Twitch channel here, of course. One of the new features, be sure to get an ad-free experience here on the St. Clair Saints, or the Saints Gaming CA channel. And it's been a long night. Definitely happy to get back into the swing of things for League of Legends. And I'm looking forward to seeing what our squad can do on Saturday. Of course, one final thank you to everybody for tuning in, supporting your friends, family, and classmates, or just your program here and their esports endeavors. Always a pleasure broadcasting to you as often as we do. And big thank you to the sponsors, of course, that make this all happen. That being St. Clair College, Tim Hortons, St. Clair SRC, Zuckelman School of Business and Information Technology, the St. Clair Alumni Association, and PC Outlet. Lastly, if you do think it's too early, you're dead wrong. We're already recruiting for September 2021. Of course, starting off with the games listed below. You want to get away from the viewer's side of things and want to get yourself actually on the field, be sure to drop an application at the stclairsaints.ca websites/join specifically. Get it in there, get talking early. Don't want to leave it to last second. But with that, we will close out for tonight. So thank you again for tuning in. My name is Daniel Banner, also known as Mr. Danners, your producer, and for tonight, your host as well. Been an absolute pleasure broadcasting for you guys tonight, and I will see you on Saturday for some more League of Legends and Rainbow Six.